And in the news today, a man named Johnny Calvero was convicted of Grand Theft Auto when he stole a 2009 Cadillac convertible from Josh Green. Now to the weather.
It's 9 degrees out here, guys. You better wear your hats and gloves. And back to you, Ben.
Now, a word from our sponsor. Has this ever happened to you?
Sadly, yes.
Then listen to me, because I've got a deal for you.
What's the deal?
It's the new city-state called Gallates, Deez. In this paradise, you can live with farmers, other jobs, buildings, and other buildings in paradise. And no more of that boring old city-state with school and jobs and work.
I don't need that.
Yes, you do.
What's the price?
Go.
Where did you come from?
Go.
I don't know, but still, what's the price?
The price is $999,999,998.99 plus tax.
That's a ripoff.
I still don't know who you are. Get out of here. Come on, go. Get out.
Can I see this city?
Welcome to Gallates Deez. This is the temple of Gallates Deez. This is northern Gallates Deez. This area is made up of hills and plains, but it is very sandy. The land is quite fertile due to seasonal rains, but right now it is dry. Much of the agricultural land is fertile in the valleys and plains between the two rivers. These are the Gallates Deez rivers. These are the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, as a matter of fact, to be quite informational. They're deserts and semi-deserts in here. Right now we're in a desert area of Gallates Deez, but there are some semi-deserts and even grasslands where they lived. As you can see, all the houses are made out of mostly stone and sandstone, and just for the climate and the resources they had. Much of the agricultural land here was irrigated. As you can see over there, there is lots of farming areas, and over here is farming areas. Pretty nice. This area right here takes up about 2/3 of modern-day Iraq. Animals that can live here are dogs and wolves. That's pretty much all the animals. Right now you can't see any because they're all hiding in caves. Alright. Plants can also survive here. As you can see, they're thriving. Almost all of the food is done growing. The area they have chosen is because it's better than the other ones. This is because of the agricultural format and the water and the perfect climate for everything. So, Gallates Deez? Hello everybody, I'm back on Gallates Deez. This is Poncho on Gallates Deez. Alright, we're going to list the job names now because, they needed to work. So, we had bakers, which cook food and pastries. We had teachers, architects, builders, weavers, potters, artists, cloth makers, priests, slaves, kings, farmers, soldiers, government officials, judges, chariot, taxis, transportation, actually, and shepherds. So that's a lot of jobs considering. Now, right now, there's not that many people out because they're all sleeping because they had a hard day, but now they're starting to come out. So, bakers, they basically just made the food for Gallates Deez, or for the higher rankers. Teachers taught the children and the adults how to use the language and how to write the language, etc., etc. Builders built the city, obviously. The weavers made baskets and collected food like the farmers did. We had the potters, which made pots out of clay and glass. Then we had the artists, which painted and things for the kings and for the... just painted things, yeah, pretty much. Next we had the clothes makers, which obviously made clothes, if you didn't know that. And we had the priests, which are the high-ranking people, would bless people and ward off evils, which they do live in the temple, actually. In Gallates, they live in the temple. See, we have 2 temples here. One of them is half buried underground, and one is full. That's the main temple they use to, do stuff. Slaves. Obviously, you know what slaves are. You've heard of them before. They do the work for people, like slaves farm and everything else. Do all the lowly, boring jobs that nobody wants to do. A good thing I'm not a slave. Next is the kings. They live in the temple, if you haven't noticed. They are the highest ranking person in the Gallates triangle. Next we had the farmers, which obviously grew and collected the crops. As you can see, this thriving city has a ton of areas where the crops are being farmed. Next we had soldiers, which protected the city. You can't see any of them because they're all underground right now. But they protect the city and guard and fight other cities and try to gain power. That's how they've gotten so big. Next we have the government officials. They take out the tasks and jobs that the king and priest want them to do. Mostly it's just the king, but sometimes in circumstances the priests can order them. Usually just the king. Next we have the judges. When criminals are caught, they decide the fate of them. Next we have the chariot taxis. This is one of the newer jobs that have just been released to Gallates Deez because now it's easier to get around. Instead of having to walk all the way to this house over here, from there to all the way over here, instead of having to walk there, you can just use the chariot. That would be really easy. Now, it's, I guess it should be free, but it's not free. It's 5 gold coins to take the chariot taxi. And then last but not least, there's the shepherds. They herd the sheep and collect the wool to make the clothing. There's no sheep out right now because they all are dead.
Hello everybody, my name is Pancho. I'm going to be talking about the government official research today. I am a Gallates Deez scientist, if you would call me that. So Gallates Deez was ruled by kings. Now, each king ruled one city, and Gallates Deez is only one city, so there was only one king. The city of, let's take an example, for instance, from another time. Let's say the city of Babylon. This was ruled by King Hammurabi. Now, I might not be pronouncing his name right, but his name is really hard to say, so I'm sorry. Well, each king and city designed the rules and systems that they thought were most beneficial to their city. So, if one king thought that the water was going to be on that side, then they were going to do that. Or if the plants and everything were going to be on one side, that was going to happen. Like, for instance, here's the Tigris River. That's where they get all their water supply from. As you can see, it's raining over here. But unlike the desert, it's not raining. Alright. The day-to-day things that the king needed were accomplished by the government officials and scribes. So, when the king needed some guy to be executed, like he stole some money, some gold coins or something like that, then the king would ask or command the government officials, or just the government officials, and have them bring the prisoner in. And then after that, they'd use the scribes, and the scribes would just, scribes would execute them, find how they were guilty, and execute them. Government officials were one of the more high-ranking officials because they carried out a lot of the deeds the king needed, like, for instance, bringing in thieves and robbers. And lastly, Trabajo is the ruler of the city-state Gallates Deez. He commands everybody. He tells everybody what to do. Sadly, I don't like that, but oh well, it's just my life. That's a lot of information. Alright. Hello everybody. I am the farmer. The agriculture in this area is like any other farm, growing plants like barley, wheat, lentils, chickpeas, onions, garlic, dates, lettuce, and feeding livestock. That's all the jobs I really get to do. And for livestock, there's cattle, goats, sheep, and cows. There's enough food for everyone, most commonly beer and bread. Yeah, kids drank beer back then, except it didn't have the alcohol it does today. If they have surpluses, there are usually wheat or barley. That's the most, kind of crops they can grow. Whew. It's beneficial because we could trade with other items and we could be short on, all the other cities and stuff, and they're running low on crops. So we can just, keep those stuff and give it away for a ton of money, a ton of gold coins, even more stuff. We may not get all of the food by farming. We get the water from the Tigris and Euphrates River. Right now, the Euphrates River, somewhere else. Right here is the Tigris River. As you can see, it's a very windy path and very blue water. It looks very nice. There's always enough water and food because they keep it irrigated correctly. Also, the temperature is correct, and they use the Tigris River for drinking water and bathing water and everything. But they didn't really, dump water into there because otherwise it'd get contaminated. Well, location does affect the farmers because of the temperature, soil, and resources. As you can see, right here is a good area because if it rains, the water will roll down right into the plants. But we don't want an overload of water. So that's my job as a farmer.
Now, we have shown you all of the wonders and talked about the perfection of this city, Gallates, Deez. Now, we will talk some more about Gallates.
This commercial has been Lisa Jack.
What are you
I
doing?
am Lisa Chambers, CEO of Gallates Deez Incorporated, and I approve of this message.
What are you doing on the show?
Yeah.
Stop. Get off. Get her off. Get her off. Get her off set.
You get absolutely 100% or nothing in return for the transaction. We are totally our business. Just send us your money. We'll give you 100% nothing in return. And if something happens to your city state, such as crashing, burning, exploding, lava, or fires, we are not liable. Batteries not included. Wow! Wow!
Hammer time! Alright, video's over. No more dancing.